Okay.
Okay, now we're on 42, Mem Beis Amud Aleph. Shel para, the weight has to be at least 10 zuz. Mishkal asar zuz. V'shel sar mishkalech mishkal shnei slam 8 zuz. Because you have to divide it, and that's enough. Shel mitzvah mishkal shekel. You don't need weight, and you don't need to divide it, and therefore you need just a small amount, 2 zuz worth. Or Rav Yechon Pliga Rav Shem ben Chalaf Rabbanon bepara. Chadam mishkal asar. Chadam mishkal shekel. In fact, there's machlokas from one extreme to the other. One holds it's got to be 10 zuz. The other holds only has to be 2 zuz. V'simonech. How do you remember this machlokas? Achas amar bevachas amamin. It the highest and the lowest. Armel Rav Yirmiyah v'diftu Ravina. Lo bepara pliki. This machlokas was not by the paraduma. Ela b'sar mishalech pliki. Vahu Yoma Daf Ravi Bar Kisi. It was that day Ravi Bar Kisi died. V'anchu basimana, and they gave a siman. Ravia Bar Kisi mechaper kisar mishtalech. The death of tzaddikim sometimes are mechaper. So they said Ravia Bar Kisi is mechaper like the sar mishtalech. And that's how you remember, because this debate occurred about the Sar Mishtalech and not about the Paraduma. Or Rav Yitzchak, Shtei Shchita Shemati. I heard halach about 2 types of shchita. Achas shel para v'achas shel paro. One has to do with the Paraduma. One has to do with the par of the Kohen Gadol. Achas ksher bizar, that if a non-Kohen shechts it, it's okay. Achas psula bizar. But one of them, if a zar shechts it, it's not good. V'lo yadana hemina, I don't know which one is which. Itmar shchitas paro uparo, the shchita of the paraduma and the par of Yom Kippur of Rabu Shmuel. Chadamar para psula paro kshera. One said the paraduma is pasul, the Kohen Gadol's par is kosher. Chadamar paro psula paro kshera. Just the opposite. And to stayim the Ravu Damar par psula, that like Rav wants to say that as if a zar shechs the paraduma, it's pasul. Amar of Zer shchitas par bizar psula. Amar of Allah Elazar v'chuka sheninuka, because it says Elazar HaKohen, who was the Kohen Gadol, and it says Zos chukas HaTorah. So whenever it says choik, it's an ikuv. So it's got to be a Kohen. Rav Maishna par d'chsiv Elazar v'chuka par nami aksiv Aaron v'chuka. By the Kohen Gadol it says v'shachat is parachatas asher lo. It says v'kriv Aaron is parachatas asher lo. And it says v'saz zos lachem l'chukas olam. So by Kohen Gadol also says it's got to be a Kohen and a choik. So, and for the Gemara, shchita lav avoida. You know what? Shchita by other korbanos is also not an avoida, and can be done by a zar. So therefore, it doesn't fall into this category. Yachi paranami. So what do you mean? So why would the shchita of a par be different? Oh, it is different. Shiny par de koche berek abayisi. Para aduma does not have kedushas aguf. It only has kedushas berek abayis, and therefore it doesn't fall under a category of avoda, and therefore the avoda of a paraduma is different. But isn't that a kol shekain? It should be a kavachomer that it's not an avoda. No, it's like by a nega. Like who if somebody has tsaras, who goes and investigates whether it's a tsaras? It's a kohen. It's not an avoda. The lav avoida hiu boy kuna. Same thing over there by paraduma. Maybe it's not an avoida, but it still might require kohen. Now ula Shmuel domer parapsulo. According to Shmuel, who said that if the zar shechts the kohen gadol's par, that it's pasul. Maishna paro. Why should it be different? The chlivar and v'chuka paranami aksiv elaz v'chuka. So shiny also the chsiv v'shachat osah lefanav. By the paraduma she is zar shoichet ve'elazar roya. when it says in that format, it could be a zar, a non-kohen shechting, but Elazar is looking. What does Rav do with shachat oisa? Shlo yasich, who else that a kohen has to do it? That pasuk comes to teach me shlo yasich daito mimena. You can't have hesach hadas in between. Ushmuel shlo yasich daito menole. Nafkele mi v'saraf es hapara le'einov. He has to keep it in front of his eyes. It means without hesach hadas. So what does Rav do with le'einov? Chad b'shchita v'chad b'sreifa. You may not have hesach hadas, not in the shchita and not in the sreifa. Now, why do maybe I could have learned one from one. More says, no, tzricha. I needed to be told this din by both things, shchita and sreifa. You know what? That's the beginning process. You can't have hesach hadas. Well, sreifa I'm alone, but sreifa maybe I could have hesach hadas. So tzricha. Because without sreifa, nothing works. Aval shchita aim alone. Tzricha, so I need it by both bases. So lemuute mai. So if I need two psukim to teach me these din by the two avodas, then what does not become possible with hesach hadas? So maybe gathering the ashes and filling it with water, maybe that doesn't need. Maybe you can have hesach hadas. So the Gemara says no. Lemishmeres lemedida means you have to watch it. It has to have shmira like shmura matzah. So what is it coming to exclude? Elamuta shlachos eitz eras ve'ezovushnitalas, throwing the cedar wood, the hyssop, and the wool into the fire, the lav gufa de paraninu. That does not require not having hesach hadas. Itmar. Shchitas para bizar. If a non-kohen shechts the paraduma, Ravabi Omer Ksheira, Rabbi Yitzchak Nafchamer Psula, Ula Omer Ksheira, Va'ami Lo Psula. Was Rabbi Yishua Bar Abba L'Sila Rav, Ein Li El Hazon Meimeha. I only know that the sprinkling of the paraduma water, She'en Kshen B'Yishu K'V'ish. A woman cannot do the hazara like a man, and Ein Kshen El Bayom. Doing hazara is only good in the daytime. Minayin l'Rabo Shchitasa v'Kabbalas Dama v'Azaz Dama Sreifasa. How do I know that the Shchita, Kabbalas of the Dam, sprinkling of the Dam, Sreifasa, burning it, Hashrach Zaytzeres v'Ezov Shchitlas, Talmud Loimar Toira. Zois Chukas HaToira means you have to do it the way the Torah says, Be'ish. What about gathering the ashes and filling with water? Talmud Lomar Zois. That's a miyud, and that technically could be done by a woman. I mean, what's the difference, Zois and Torah? I mean, it's not using logic. You're doing it arbitrarily. Where do you see logically to include all these other avodas that only men can do, and only to be motzi that one that women can do? Because when the Torah first said these people can do all of this and only excluded something, Amrit, Harei Anu Lemedim Kulam Azos Meimeh. So we learn everything from sprinkling the water. Ma Azos Meimeh, sprinkling the water, Einan Kshen B'Isha K'V'ish. A woman cannot do it. Ve'en Kshen El B'Yom can only do it in the daytime. Af ani avishchi tosov v'kabbalas dama v'azos dama sreifosov v'shachos zeiteres v'ezov shnitolas. All of those avodos also have to be done by a man. Hoil ve'en kshen b'yishu k'v'ish, and en kshen el b'yom umotzi ani, and they're only kosher in the daytime. Umotzi ani asefas ephron miloman b'kiddush. But gathering the ashes and filling them with water, hoil uksherin b'yishu k'v'ish, those are permitted. So therefore, those avodah also ksherim nami bayom of alayla. Those things, the gathering and adding the water, could be done at night. So what's the kasha? So are you connecting a non-kohen to an isha? And just like you proved to me now that an Isha cannot shecht, so a Zar cannot shecht, that can't be, because sprinkling the water cannot be done by a woman, but can be done by a non-Kohen. Amra Abai, I know tiyufta. Isha, my time, because Elazar v'lo Isha. Elazar is a Kohen, and he's also a man, to teach me that it can't be a woman. But Zar Nami, Elazar v'lo Zar. The din is, however, that a regular Kohen hedyot can shech the paraduma. And the Rambam says, Kol maisa pora, mishkitasav atzov sreifasa, all the activities of the paraduma, from the shchita until you finish burning it, eino kosher el bezichrei kohuna. Cannot be a zar, it's got to be a male kohen, v'isha psula behem. But hakol ksherim lesof efer apara, ulamala mayim lekiddush,